With this greed in my heart, the core of my bag, I tread with the few, the brown of warriors bag. Each word I promise my rifle and me, bound by the creed, it's all that we be. Rapid like thunder, my breath in the cold. Legends of valor and stories untold. In the heat of the fight with my enemy near, is the greed that I whisper, the one they all fear. I'm the jarhead of the Marine in the dark. I roam with a heart made of ice, and my shot precise. Savage leatherneck style with a flow so tight. In the rhythm of the battle, I don't park my rifle bites. How'd you watch out, elevate, accelerate, live on the hate, don't pause, don't hesitate. My life for my soul, one shot, one kill. First to fight, ready to die, but never will. Come at me, bro, these words intertwine. With my rifle beside me, this battlefield's mine. Through the echo of the chant in the thick of the fray. Masters of the night, lords of the day. Warrior spirit in the storm we thrive. With every verse in the battle we're alive. Just this rhythm in my soul, beats in my song. With my rifle and my creed, I march along. I'm the jarhead, the Marine in the dark. I roam with a heart made of ice, and my shot precise. Savage leatherneck style with a flow so tight. In the rhythm of the battle, I don't park my rifle, bite down. Shift gear, let the silence hear. With a whisper in the wind, the end draws near. On Maryland sea with steady aim. In the heart of the battle, I claim my name. Hoorah, devil dog. The next verse, with a blood-striped twist. The tip of the spear, we coexist. My rifle and I, with the hem of the creed. And the devil dog soul, it's all I need. We're the brave run in, we're already there. Rifle in our hands, death in our stare. Simplify our battle yell. With every shot, we send them to hell. Our creed, loud in chaos roar. Across the battlefield, loyal to the core. Bullets fly, enemies fall. Marines, we answer the call. Hoorah, get some, left, right, left, right. Hoorah, get some, left, right. Hoorah, get some, left, right. Hoorah, get some, left, right. The words collide with the strength of the creed. Semper Fi. From Montezuma's halls to Barbary Coast. Raise your glasses and give a toast. In the thick of it, where the danger's real. With our weapon, we make the devil kneel. You step to us, you know the deal. With a mad dog beat, we lead the attack. We're kicking ass while bodies stack. Chaos of war, we're a spear. Riflemen strong, we have no peer. I'm the jarhead, the Marine in the dark. I roam with a heart made of ice, and my shot precise. Savage leatherneck style with a flow so tight. In the rhythm of the battle, I don't park my rifle bites. So here I stand, with my rifle in hand. A Marine, a warrior across the land. In this creed we trust, in the battle we soar. For God, country, and core.
Hey dudes, Reagan with Texas Defense Articulations here with some more 1911 content for you. And of course it's raining out here at East Texas Rifle and Pistol Club in Longview, and you'll notice this is going to be a little bit of a weird video. So what I have here is a Springfield Operator, just the standard model, but you notice it doesn't look like any of the normal ones that you see on the shelf. I had this one customized in a few ways to basically commemorate the M45A1. There's a few clones out there. I decided they weren't for me, and I wanted to make my own, especially get the color right with that Cerakote Desert Tan instead of what you see the other ones in. And so here we are. So if you want to watch a video on the M45A1, there's a lot of really good ones out there. M110 Sass, Actual Sassy Pants, or whatever his name. He's got a couple of good videos out there for you also. So why is this gun special? Well, this was one of the last hoorah, or the M45A1 was one of the last hoorahs of the 1911 in the armed forces. Marine Corps tried to use it for MARSOC or the Marine Raiders, whatever. Don't correct me on that, don't care. There's a lot of good stuff out there if you want to find all the little gory details about it. But so having said that, I've done a lot of work with a lot of Marines over the years, and when I was going to put this video on, I was like, hey, I got a few guys that I do jiu-jitsu with that served in the Marine Corps. Mike Diesel was kind enough to loan me one of his tops in the Desert Tan, which is a camo color that I always like, so I wanted to throw that in here. And also, if you'll notice, the intro music's going to be Marine Corps themed. So appreciate those Marines. It's always meant a lot to me when I go out and train with these dudes, and a lot of them got a lot of good things to say after training with me, or if I'm training with them. And one of the first guys to build me a range that believed in what I was doing was Scout Sniper Marine. So just so I could teach easier and better in my local area. So anyway, enough of all that sort of stuff. So let's talk about this. Again, it's old school, or a normal, not old school, but a normal 45 Operator by Springfield. Nothing super special about it, but you'll notice I've got these 3 stars on the side right here, and I've swapped out the mainspring housing, and it's got a solid trigger in it versus what it comes with. There's nothing wrong with how the Operators come. I just changed a few things to be as close to clone correct as I can. I realized the M45A1 came with a Series 80s trigger, and this is a Series 70. I totally get that. Not going to get a Series 80 gun for anybody, because that sucks. So don't care for that at all. But that's me particularly. Don't read too much into it. So yeah, I did all that, and had Paladin Arms swap out a few things for me. I did order these VZ grips, and then of course Weapon Rehab did a heck of a job getting these Cerakote Desert Tan all nice and painted up on all the controls and everything, and the screws color matched and everything like that. So did a real good job. Looks really good. And you know, I know that usually says M45A1 has USMC and all that stuff on the side. Didn't want to go that far and start treading into territory where I might get some people upset at me, so I just put the 3 stars on the side to commemorate it. Paladin Arms took care of that for me also. So I am going to get another set of sights in here. So now we're going to talk specifically more about the gun. I didn't know what to think about these when Springfield first came out with them. They have the rail. Every time I've picked one up, it's felt pretty good, but I noticed a few things before that I didn't care for, like the blending on the back of the slide to the frame was never really perfect. This one is actually perfect, but I've seen those on a few, and that wasn't really done perfectly, but that's an aesthetic thing. It's not actually a functional thing, so I totally get it. And basically, after all the stuff I looked at, I'm like, nowadays, you can pick these guns up, especially the non-AOS. I went non-AOS because I not gonna put optic on this because again, it's kind of a clone gun, and they didn't have those optic cuts already in them back then or anything like that. So if you can find these guns for less than $1,000 on the used market, you usually find them, if you find them in a store, they'll be about $1,000. Or I picked this one up from a buddy, Jonathan Sump, for 800 bucks. And so I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I'd want to spend on something like this, that I'm probably going to put quite a few rounds through, and I can always use it as a backup gun for class or anything like that too. So how did it run? Gun ran really, really well. The only things that I changed that might have had some sort of performance issue was I did swap this trigger out. The M45A1 came with a solid trigger. The old school, or the Operators, they actually had 3 holes in them, the 3-hole trigger that's super famous and all that sort of thing. It did not take much of anything to fit. I did not adjust anything with the sear or anything like that with the actual ignition stuff. I just put that in there. We did have one hammer follow, but after looking at it, I think I had a little something wrong with that rounder. It was very weird. It never did it again. And I've had a couple of mags not locked to the rear. If that looks like it's just my magazine's getting worn out, because I don't know if you guys are aware of this, to shoot a decent amount. So that's what wears magazines out, is shooting. So maybe it's a badge of honor. So anyway, we're at over 1,000 rounds through this gun now, and it had, again, I got it used. He didn't shoot a whole lot, but he did shoot through it a decent amount. As far as picking one of these up, I thought I was iffy about it, but I've seen a bunch of these in class, never seen any issues with any of the guns. And so that kind of led me was like, hey, maybe this is actually a pretty good pistol. And so I was like, all right, cool, I'll pick it up and I'll shoot it. And the more I fired the trigger, the better it got. It broke at like just under 4 pounds this morning when I put a gauge on it. So that's a really good trigger for a gun that's, I mean, you're not really, I mean, even with the AOS, I want to say they're like $1,100, man. That's great. So this, after shooting this amount and the amount of these that I have seen in class, specifically the 45, I'm going to say is probably one of the better guns that you can get for around $1,000. I've seen a lot of other guns that didn't quite cut the mustard with like even basic longevity, getting through 500,000 rounds in a few days of training. So actually pretty impressed by this thing for the price point. Yes, you can get a cheaper gun. I totally get it. If you're not running 1,000 rounds a month through it or anything like that, where you're actually going to get like serious high round counts towards like 3, 4, 5 years down the road, then yeah, you know, maybe you don't need to spend the money. But seems like a really good option. So I wouldn't hesitate to pick one of these up. As a matter of fact, I've had 2 of them in 9mm, one AOS, one non-AOS, but I never did any reviews on them because I never really got to shoot a lot of rounds through them. So I didn't want to be like, yeah, this is actually pretty good, but I did shoot enough that I was like, these are actually really good. Well, they seem to be really good, but I haven't put tons and tons of ammo through each one of them. So let's talk about the things I don't like. This front sight is like needs to go on a diet. It is so freaking wide. It is super difficult to hit things at distance, which I normally do every day with like the TRP's front sights, or even even like the TSUS Raider. You know, it's a much cheaper gun, but that front sight was much more narrow. Now it doesn't have a tritium vial in it. This one does, and so maybe it's just a little bit wider to accommodate that tritium vial. So there are another set of sights on the way. Pallet Arm's going to put me another set in there. I don't really care about tritium in the sights. Honestly, it's just for finding your gun on the nightstand in the middle of the night. It's not for shooting. That's a bad idea. They also come with the 2 white dots on the rear, which basically do nothing but draw your eyes to the rear for no reason. And so, yeah, these are going to go away pretty soon. I do like this little stealth. This is actually like a copy of the old stealth charger, I want to say, that Dawson Precision did back in the day. So I like this design, but I don't like this front sight, and you know, you could always just black out the ones in the rear like I totally did. So that's the things one of the big things that I just did not care for on the gun. But again, not the worst thing in the world, especially for the price point you get on this gun. So, man, honestly, I didn't really run into anything else other than that. One of the things I would have loved, but it drives the price up, is to have that front strap 20 lines per inch checkering that goes on the front. That wasn't on the M45A1. That's another reason why I went ahead and went with this gun. But if you see a lot of those guys who get those guns for they're collector's items, but you'll see a lot of them still have the remnants of the grip tape that dudes put on the front to be able to, you know, just keep that gun in your hand as you're putting a lot of rounds down range. So that was one of those things that specific to the TRPs on the Springfield series, at least, that's where a lot of your money's going, because getting that added after the fact it's a significant amount of money. So just keep that in mind. Not that you can't do it, but there you go. Also has no magazine well on it or anything like that, even though it has a bit of a bevel down here to help with those reloads. Nothing wrong with that. So man, again, not to just kind of pump it up or anything like that, but I'm pretty impressed with this thing, especially at the price point that it comes in at. So anyway, other than that, appreciate you guys tuning in for this one. Hey, and I appreciate all them leathernecks out there that have served our country over the years, and hope it didn't upset you that I was wearing one of your tops. So nothing else.